So back to that data leak at British Airways and the hundreds of thousands of passengers and customers whose personal details, including, we think, credit card information, were hacked. Well, with me is Ameer Al-Nemrat, a researcher in cybersecurity and digital forensics at the University of East London. A very good evening to you. Your understanding of just how serious and extensive this is. We're talking about nearly 400,000 people.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's, I mean, the amount of the number of customers being affected and the amount of data and information being leaked or stolen at that level is really scary and worrying. And I think that it will be a very hard day for British Airways and financial institutions at the same time to deal with all these type of credit card information, the information we are stolen. And at the same time, to convince the customer they are their information, they are safe and they will not be escalated again with the future attacks by using these data.
Well, you know, big companies are going to want to know this, but, you know, this is a multinational, a global company, and it's had lots of IT problems in different forms over the last few years, and people want to know, how could it happen? Presumably, they've got huge security systems as well.
Absolutely. I mean, they were, British Airways, they were attacked 2016, and they lost almost £100,000 by getting their website down by a 23 years old young man. And absolutely, this is happening again. And we should not be surprised if we hear that again in the future for such companies similar to British Airways or other companies. The cause of that, because the system has become more complex and it requires a lot of security measures to be applied at all ports, at all gates, at all layers, at all applications and technology used. Another.
So I mean, you know, to cut a long story short, you're talking about there's too many ways in. You can't cover all those.
Absolutely. I mean, there's again. I mean, all the security or the security professionals, they knew, for example, there is a flaw in their website at some point. But that will depend on the appetite of the management to wait until this will be exploited, or they're going to spend maybe a huge amount of money, for example.
And haven't you got to hire some of these hackers as well? Isn't that what a lot of these companies do, is they get, you know,
absolutely,
attack our systems if you're trying to get into it, but we're paying you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, that's right. I mean, this is what is going on. And that's why most of the companies, sometimes they could not afford to keep testing and what they call ethical hacking or penetration testing all the time. And this happening, for example, for every piece of technology being implemented within the network has to set up the system again and try to implement or secure that specific, let's say, layer or that specific piece of technology again. Assuming, for example, we have a printer, network printer, they have really to do that again for installing that network printer.
So what are you saying? This, I mean, this will take an awful long time for BA to fix, and it might not even be fixed.
I mean, what we have here so far, I mean, this is just or the analysis based on the statement released by British Airways themselves, and we are waiting for more technical details because, as I said, as most of the security community agreed that, for example, having the CCV number, the 3-digit number on the back of the card, that's really by law is the companies are not allowed to store this number. That means the data were stolen lively while the people were entering this information intercepted.
So while you were, you know, booking your flight and thinking you were just having a digital conversation with BA, there was a third party.
Absolutely.
Right across that.
All of them, they have a third party, new application developers, outsourced, and this one of the main factors where the threats will come.
So what happens to this information? Do the hackers use it directly themselves and start buying a lot of things, or do they sell it on? We hear about the dark web and credit cards for sale.
Absolutely.
Presumably ones with these numbers are even more valuable.
Yes, I do agree. We won't be surprised if this part of this information is already in sale in the dark web, because it started the 21st of August. And this information sometimes as well will be used as input for another attack in the future, using the same information, for example, for identity theft, to open a new account in someone's names, or card or whatever.
So would you advise, I don't know if you do this, I mean, would you advise anyone who's informed by British Airways that their details have been hacked in this particular hack to cancel their credit card, or even without being contacted, cancel it now?
I think this is the fastest and the safest way to do so.
Okay. And in terms of the company and getting it fixed, there's an issue of confidence here, isn't there? Because with so much now going on online, particularly for airlines, but other companies as well, if there is no confidence that the system is secure, well, then confidence in the entire company can ebb away.
Absolutely, I do agree. As you mentioned as well, this is the GDPR new breach when GDPR was implemented. I mean, just last April, and I think that will be an example to show the authority. I mean, for such companies. I mean, to make sure that it will not happen in the future. At least at not that size of attacks. Yeah.
Fascinating. Thank you very much indeed for your advice, Mr. Al-Nemrat. Very good to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much.